Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian. Yes, I do look like I'm a bit in the dark. I understand that, but hopefully the sound quality is good. So here's the deal. We go back a week or so and you're looking at those markets and there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of angst. We got volatility over 25. Well, that almost looks like that's completely in the rear view mirror. When you go back to Friday, we hit a new high on the S&P. We hit a new high on the Dow. We hit a new high on the NASDAQ. It seems like people were able to shrug that off and get back focused on what's going on within the markets themselves and the earnings season, which we know has been very, very impressive. I talked about volatility. We went from 25 back down to the 16, 17 range. As a matter of fact, this past Friday, how about the volumes that we were seeing? 41.7 million contracts trading. That you've heard me talk about 40 plus million on multiple occasions over the last couple of weeks. That's the kind of markets that we're in right now. It's earnings season. People are very excited, and we are seeing the liquidity. We're also seeing incredible amounts of trading in some of the individual names as well. But it's nice and spread out in the overall picture of things. Apple still was in the lead, 1.6 million. We had Facebook, which has been absolutely on a tear, 1.2 million. Tesla, 1.1 million. Oh, by the way, they have earnings coming up tonight. And then we had Snap, which after their earnings had that incredible run to the upside. They and Twitter both, but Snap, nearly 1 million contracts trading as well. We take a look over at the 10-year. We look at the 10-year day in and day out. And one of the things that we obviously know it's going to be affecting most, it's going to be in the financial world. Well, then it's nearing once again after 113. Here we are trading a lot closer to that 130 level, somewhere very, very close to that. So we seem to have found sort of that ground right in between that 1 and 1.6%. And that's exactly where we find ourselves. So communications, that was really explosive on Friday. That was up nearly 3%, 2.6%. Really, really nice move to the upside. We also had a great move from technology. We had healthcare, staples, all of which were up 1% or more. So a really, really prime day that really stands out with a couple of names that really stood out for me. Moderna was up another 8%. You'll take a look. I mentioned Facebook. Facebook was up 5%. DR Horton, we're going back to the builders. That had a really nice day, up about 4%. Google was up about 3.5%. You get the idea. We had a really nice broad participation when you look through some of the names that I just brought up, from builders to the social media to biotech. Gives you a little bit of a flavor for the fact that we really did have a very big, solid swath of different sectors participating to the upside. I mentioned liquidity. How about going back for 1 second to last Tuesday? And the reason I bring this up is we were talking about this on the cocktail hour on Friday at Market Rebellion with all of our subs and everybody, and we were having a great time. And I'll tell you what, when you look at Tuesday, and we had 74 unusual option activities hitting last Tuesday. I don't know that that's necessarily a record, but that's an incredible number, right? I mean, these guys work so hard here at Market Rebellion to try to find the best unusual options that we can find, and this, that, and the other. To come up with 74 is pretty amazing. We started off today a little bit under pressure. The Dow was down about 100 points. We had the NASDAQ down about 30 points. NASDAQ kind of been floating around down 30, 40 points. Last I looked, actually, we were getting into positive territory. Not by a whole lot, but we were up about 10 points. We were still slipping back after a little bit of a recovery. We were slipping back down once again, last I looked, in terms of the Dow itself. It was down maybe 90, close to 100 points once again. Crude oil, 72. That's really a focus. And I bring that up for a variety of reasons, but energy, that is the sector that's leading right now. Energy up about 1.6% early on. Take a look at Chevron. Chevron having another nice day, back to many nice days in some of these energy areas within the marketplace. Obviously, some of the beta names that we focus on, but Chevron, at least earlier, was the leader of the Dow to the upside. So really, really strong. Then you look over at Bitcoin. Bitcoin trading very near or even above 39,000. It's been a little while since we got up to those levels. We were just concerned about the fact that we were under 30,000, and here we are at 39,000. So a couple of standouts today. Hasbro, earnings, impressive. Revenue, very, very strong. That stock, when I looked, 8.7% to the upside. Lockheed Martin, a name that I love, down about 3%, but those numbers were impressive. When you look at what their forecast was, very impressive. There are some reasons why, a little bit of pressure, one of it which was stock's been on a very nice move to the upside, maybe just a little bit of a pullback that we're seeing right now. We'll see how long this lasts in terms of Lockheed, but the numbers and their forecast sure did look strong. So, I want to mention one other. Morgan Stanley, day in, day out, in terms of financials, I often talk about Capital One in terms of going against Visa and Master and some of the credit card world and the outperformance Capital One has had. Morgan Stanley is another one of these names that's had incredible performance. It was one of the leaders today early on in terms of the financials, which weren't really doing a whole lot. But you take a look over at Morgan Stanley, fast approaching that $100 level. It's been a really, really impressive run. So, two of these unusuals, and then I'm out of here. And then I've got the noon show coming up really soon, plus WCCO locally in Minnesota as well. Not local for me right now. You can see the beautiful background. We're back down in Florida, baby. McDonald's, that one stood out, $243 a share. That's what it was trading for. We had a buyer. They've got earnings this week, of course. They had a buyer of 3,300 of the July. Now the only thing left in July 30th expiration, the 245 call. So looking for a little bit of a move to the upside for these options. They were going for about $2.50 when the buyer of the 3,300 came in. Those earnings are on the 28th. Next, Pinduoduo. Now, this is another one of these Chinese names. We've talked about the ups and downs, a lot like the beta of energy. Well, China names as well in that same sort of category in terms of some very, very volatile moves, especially of late. So PDD trading right around 92.60. We had a buyer of 5,300 of the July expiring 97 calls. Those were about $1.50 all the way up to about $1.70 for those calls, 5,300 of those. Both of these, as you notice, very, very short term, both expiring this week. It's still a lot of what we are seeing is very, very short term. We do get some extensions out there, but in the big, broad scheme on those days where we had the 74 unusual option activities, of course, it's all over the map, but the majority definitely short term. That's where people are trading right now because of the 10-year, because of what's going on with the different viruses and viruses, all that type of thing right now. There's a lot of different reasons why we were in a market where people are not going very far out, but they're certainly wanting to be a part of the markets themselves. Folks, have a great day of trading, and I look forward to seeing you this afternoon. Take care.